Max Payne 3 is a troubled but surprisingly great game even in 2021. It's not perfect by any means of the word. The story was consistently changing during its development back all the way in 2012 up until shortly its release of June of that year. It's kind of a bearable story, but nothing amazing, especially when you compare it to the story of the previous two games. You don't really form any connections with the characters, including Max, the main character. He seems more like a boozehead pill popper who somehow found a gun with god-tier aim. You kind of forget that he's a cop, except he consistently reminds you throughout the game. The animations are what you'd expect from a game that's about a decade old at this point. And yeah, at certain times the story makes sense, but then 2 minutes later, it makes as little sense as a Wall Street broker that's been on a 3-day bender filled with cocaine, hookers, and some good old quaaludes. And most of the jokes definitely fall flat. But even with all that, the game is still a surprisingly great game. The gunplay, especially the bullet times, makes the game feel amazing, and you quickly fall in love with being able to slow down time and being able to jump from one area to another. And somehow, even with all of this, with all its faults, the game somehow does the bullet time and makes it not feel extremely OP. In Max Payne 3, we meet up with our favorite cop, Max Payne, obviously, but surprise, he's no longer a cop. Instead, he's an alcoholic who practically lives in a bar in New Jersey. This is until we meet our old friend from Max's police academy days, who somehow and for some reason thinks Max is the perfect poster boy for an easy and simple bodyguard position down in São Paulo, Brazil. But like every action game since the beginning of time, nothing goes to plan. In a matter of a month, the 3 people who you were supposed to be protecting ends up getting kidnapped. And this leads you and your friend from the police academy Pesos to track them down and rescue them whilst fighting gangs, militias, and eventually even the police themselves. Now, probably the best feature of this game is its bullet time feature. At any point during a shootout, you can enter a what seems like Matrix-inspired state that allows you to not only see the bullets being fired at you in slow-mo, but also allows you to jump towards, away, and even to the sides of enemies, allowing you to pull off some crazy cool looking kills. And especially a great aspect of this game is Max Payne's level designs. They truly are beautiful. When you're in the favela, it feels like you're in the favela. When you're in, the rich parts of the city, it feels like you're in the rich parts of the city. And it also doesn't punish you for trying to explore. The game introduces this golden gun aspect that doesn't do anything spectacular to your guns, like give it buffs or, crazy weapon spectacularness, but it just makes your gun golden, and I love it when games do that. It also introduces painkillers, and think of it as Max's candy. I mean, the guy literally can't stop talking about it throughout the game. Painkillers are pretty useful. They're basically medkits. And also, when it's equipped, this game does an interesting thing. If an enemy kills you while you have a painkiller in your inventory, it enters you into an almost mini-game-like state, that if you kill that person before you land on the ground, you get to keep on fighting. The shooting in this game feels great. You can tell with the addition of a smaller reticle and bullet time in the game, Rockstar puts a big emphasis on accuracy. But also, whilst playing on hard mode, it's truly not a hard thing to hit headshots. Going from cover to cover and shooting whilst in slow motion is an amazing feeling. If that's not your style of play, you could easily just run and gun. It feels just as badass and smooth as the traditional cover-based shooting that third-person games tend to have, like Watch Dogs, Uncharted, and even Gears of War. And with shooting this good in a game from 2012, it makes you think, why hasn't Rockstar brought this over to titles like GTA and Red Dead Redemption? Both were also third-person shooters that without aim assist while playing on a controller feels like a pointless attempt to even try to aim, because it's nearly impossible. But in a game that came out in 2012, you could easily play this game on keyboard and mouse and hit headshots versus playing on keyboard on controller. Another great thing to come out of this game is when you kill an enemy at the end, a cool cutscene plays that shows you killing the enemy in slow motion. And if done with bullet time, you can get some really cool shots. Max Payne 3's music is amazing. It builds the atmosphere around you from when you enter to the favela and you hear that traditional rap Brazilian music to when you enter into a high-scale club and you hear that EDM playing versus when you're in the classical mansion scene. It builds every environment you're in, and especially when you're in battles. You hear this high, intense music playing in the background when you have 50 guys shooting at you. It's straight up amazing. It really does build to it. But the one downside is if you're playing on hard mode or higher, it gets really hard to really pay attention to the music because you're more worried about where you may not be killed from. So if music is a really big deal for you, I really would recommend playing this game on an easy or medium mode, because then you not only get to enjoy the fun aspects like bullet time and a little bit of challenge, especially on normal mode, you also get to experience the beautiful music that this game offers you, especially during battles. Max Payne 3 does a lot of things well, and the things that they do good is amazing, but character and writing is not one of them. All the characters feel like plot points. The 3 people who you have to save, at no point during my playthrough of this game did I actually care about saving them. They all felt like rich asshole plot points, and maybe that's what Rockstar was going for, or maybe they were just trying to create plot points. I don't really know, because the writing is also so trash. Like, the game has to consistently remind you why you're trying to save these people. What's Max Payne's whole entire process? Why does he drink alcohol? It consistently reminds you through these flashback moments and also through these self-dialogues. And I get it. If it was written well, it would be amazing, but it's just not. And I don't really think it's Rockstar's fault. I think it's all the facts that there was consistent story changes even till about a week before the game's release back in 2012, and it really does suck because this game could have easily been like a 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, but because of these 2 things, it has to be a 7 out of 10. There's no point to replay this game after you're done with it. Maybe once, just to, you know, play it on a higher difficulty, maybe try to beat it on hardcore or on old pain or whatever that game mode is called. But other than that, the story's bland. You can't skip any cutscenes. You'd never fall in love with any of the characters, including Max. It's just kind of an ass story. But other than that, I would still recommend this game to anyone, because it's a fun game. And if you have 5 hours to kill, especially in this quarantine, definitely get this game, because it's not even that long of a game, even in hard mode. I played this game once before I recorded this video, and I only died 15 times in this Let's Play that I did, and it took me about 6 hours to beat. So if you want to just chill at your computer or on your PS4 or Xbox, wherever you can play this game, and just play a Max Payne game, this is definitely a great game. It's not too hard, it's not too easy, it's just a fun shoot around game. Definitely check it out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button and check out my Twitch, because I stream all the gameplay that you see here was from my stream, so go check it out. I'm normally live every day, but I might not be. To get more information about my Twitch and when I'm live, definitely check out my Twitter. Also, all my stuff will be down in the description. I really hope you guys liked this video. I'm so sorry for all the stuttering and stuff like that. This is the first time I've ever done a review of a game. It's kind of a little bit harder than I thought it would be. But leave a comment down below what you like about this game, if you agree with my takes, if you don't agree with my takes, and also what games you want me to review, because I actually kind of enjoyed doing this. It was fun.